Welcome to today's episode on Azure Availability Zones and Regions. In this session, we will explore how Azure's infrastructure ensure high availability, resilience, and redundancy for your application or services. We'll dive into what availability zones are, how they work, and how they differ from Azure regions. So let's get started. First, let's talk about Azure Availability Zones. These are physically separate data centers within an Azure region. Each availability zone is an independent location, ensuring that failures in one zone do not affect the other zone. This isolation provides fault tolerance and high availability for your applications or services. Now, why is this important? Well, with availability zones, you get redundancy. What do you mean by that? Here, resources are replicated across multiple zones. This means if one zone goes down, your resources will automatically fail over to another zone without causing any downtime, or at least minimal downtime. Now, Azure connects these zones through high-speed, low-latency networks, which ensures that your data is transmitted or transferred from one zone to another zone quickly and also reliably. So, what's the difference between Azure regions and availability zone? An Azure region is a geographical area that contains multiple data centers offering core services like compute, storage, and networking. Meanwhile, an availability zone is a physical data center within that region. So, region is bigger, zones are inside it. Now, I will repeat it. An availability zone is a physical data center within that region, which we discussed, providing fault isolation and redundancy to keep your applications or services running smoothly. Now, by distributing your workloads across multiple zones, you or your organization can ensure high availability, minimizing downtime, and guaranteeing that your application or service remains operational. Azure also supports DR, disaster recovery, making it easier to recover from a potential disruption. And with 99.9% or 99.99% uptime, SLAs are actually configured. Now, Microsoft present these SLAs so that there is a formal agreement between the customer and the platform provider themselves. Now, using those high availabilities and your SLA guarantees, your businesses can rely on Azure's infrastructure for continuous service delivery in the future. Now, in summary, Azure availability zones play a key role in ensuring resilience and redundancy. They provide fault isolation, data redundancy, and automatic failover, allowing you to actually have the minimal downtime as possible. Now, by deploying resources across multiple zones, businesses can take full advantage of Azure's high availability and disaster recovery, which is backed up by a very strong 99.99% uptime guarantees by Azure. And this is mentioned in the SLA. So that's all for today's session. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.